Hello students, welcome to this course. I am Assistant Professor Maria Muriel de Barros from the Department of Psychology of Rosary College of Commerce and Art. This course is designed for the third year Bachelor of Arts students for semester 5. The course code is PSC 106. The course title is Psychological Testing. The title of the unit, Norms in Psychological Testing, module name, Norms and the Normative Sample. Module number is 6. Outline of the lecture. Definition of norm reference testing. What is norming in psychological testing? The nature of the normative sample. And procedures to derive the normative sample. Learning outcomes. By the end of this lecture, you will understand the concept of norm reference testing, discuss norming in psychological testing, analyze the nature of the normative sample, and describe the procedures to derive the normative sample. Norm reference testing and assessment. In common parlance, norm implies expected, standard, or typical behavior. In psychological testing, norms are the test performance data of a particular group of test takers that are designed for use as a reference when evaluating or interpreting individual test scores. Norms imply a summary of test scores. They also imply average performance that helps us understand the frequency of people who may have scored high or scored low on a particular test. Norms also tell us the deviation from expectation. Norms are a method of evaluation and a way of deriving meaning for test scores. A test taker who gains a certain score, for example, a score of 120, using norms, these scores can be interpreted and we can understand if the person has scored in the average bracket or has scored above average or below average. Norming. The verb to norm or norming refers to the process of deriving norms. Norms provide information on a test taker's standing or ranking relative to a comparison group of test takers. For example, on a test of memory or intelligence, a score that a test taker gets on such a test can be compared to other similar people who have taken the same test. Norming may be modified to describe a particular type of norm derivation. For example, in the case of race norming, there can be different cutoff scores for hiring people from different cultural groups. Tests can also have user norms or program norms. These norms are descriptive statistics based on a group of test takers in a given period of time rather than norms obtained by formal sampling method. For example, if a test user wants to use a particular test specifically for the population of third-year psychology students in a college, he may derive norms that are specific to that group of students. These can be used instead of nationally representative normative samples. Since gaining a nationally representative normative sample can be expensive, many test users can use user norms or program norms. The normative sample. The normative sample is a group of people whose performance on a test is analyzed for reference in evaluating the performance of future test takers. The normative sample is the first sample to whom a test is administered. The performance of the normative sample is later used in order to derive norms. The test developer targets some defined group as the population. This is the complete universe of test takers for which the test is designed. The process of selecting a part of the universe as representative of the whole population is referred to as sampling. Some test developers might want to use the entire population or the complete universe as a standardization sample. This can be possible only when the complete universe or the population of test users is a small number. However, if the population of test users is very large, the test developer can select a sample from the universe or a small portion of the universe and administer the test, and that would be known as the standardization sample. The test developer administers the test to the normative sample, and the results are used to form a distribution of scores. This distribution of scores is later used as a source of evaluating and placing into context the test scores obtained by future test takers. Therefore, the performance of the normative sample is used in order to derive norms, which are later used as a reference for future test takers. Sampling procedures for the normative sample. There are several procedures that can be used to derive a sample for the normative sample. Sampling procedures for the normative sample. There are several procedures that can be used to derive the normative sample. The first one that we will look at is stratified sampling. In stratified sampling, the sample is selected in proportion to the current occurrence of these strata in the target population. Using stratified sampling, the entire population of test takers is divided into several strata, and people are selected from each strata depending on the proportion to which they occur in the population. For example, a test developed for adolescents in Goa. Adolescents in Goa can be stratified based on their gender, age, socio-economic status, or their religious affiliation. The test developer can use a sample of 4 males and 6 females in the standardization sample. A second sampling procedure is stratified random sampling. In this procedure, each individual has an equal chance of being a part of the standardization sample. The third sampling procedure is purposive sampling. Test developer arbitrarily selects some sample because it is believed to be representative of the population. For example, a manufacturer wants to test the appeal of a new product on a small number of people. He will choose a sample based on his own judgment whether that sample is representative of the population. The fourth type of sampling is incidental or convenience sampling. This procedure is based on what is convenient or easily available at a particular time. A test developer may select a sample only because they were available on a particular day or at a particular time. These will be your references for this course. Thank you.